Okay, guys, we are back. We had a small technical difficulty, but I think we solved the issue. So, going back to it, we were talking about automation and how we are on our way over to Cali Express by Flippy in Pasadena, the fully automated restaurant. And Freddie was saying, well, how do you troubleshoot the issues you might have? So, if you get bad food and you need to get it replaced, or you want a refund or something, what do you do? But I think the issue with that would be that they are going to have workers there. So the workers would, do
but I'm talking about in a fully automated future. Like, what happens when something does go wrong? Like, we've all had it where we put our money into a machine and then nothing happened. Is there going to be like a call center where you push a button and the person's going to refund you? Or are you just going to have to try to capture the owner of an automated restaurant when something doesn't go right? Or,
I kind of feel like they're going to have some way around that, even now, if you order something from Amazon, how you can go through and you can do the return process, on your computer.
If it came through Amazon, remember I had that problem with my microphones when they didn't show up.
Well, that was a third-party vendor through
That's
Amazon,
what I mean. So how do we know who's going to actually own it, or the automation companies, because of the price of the actual robots going to be outsourced? So is it going to be third-party vendor, where I'm renting my automated robots to run my restaurant?
Oh.
Because you know what I mean? Because a robot is expensive, and it has to be maintained and software updates and all that stuff. So what happens when what happens when you have an update? Does the restaurant shut down?
No, they probably would do the updates overnight, but
if it's not 24 hours.
Yeah, or I'm sure they would have to have some sort of
why would you need to close if you have robots? Your place can stay open 24 hours a day. It's like those there used to be those convenience stores that were 24 hours. Like in Europe, they have a lot of those like that. In Scandinavia, where it's fully automated, everything you put into your cart is scanned.
It's kind of like an Amazon Fresh or something.
Yeah, like that.
It's like an Amazon. They have the little Amazon Fresh store. It's called Amazon Go, where you go in, you have to swipe a credit card or scan your Amazon account before you walk in.
Yeah, so same style things. So you don't ever have 24 hours. Really does become 24 hours again.
But what would they do about theft and stuff, about when you walk into those stores when they really don't have any people that are working there? How do they know that it wasn't you jumped over the little turnstile, you went and you stole your stuff and you left?
They could do do you remember the banks? I don't know if they still do this.
A man trap.
Yeah, where you have to go through the two doors, and the back door has to close before you go out the second door.
Yeah.
So that's easily how you stop people from stealing.
So you just have to walk through the man trap carrying your
and then it could flag a system where someone's in a control center and be like, "Hey, sir, sorry, but two of your items, you're overweight," because it's usually done by weight as well. You're overweight than what you walked in with, so they know exactly how much you weighed, and then boom, so you try to go out and they'll be like, you only paid for 4 items, but we can see 6 items with you. So either put the 2 items back or the second door doesn't get open, or you're trapped in that man space. So that would be an easy way around people stealing in a place like this.
Yeah. Huh. That'd be kind of an interesting concept too, though.
And then it also would help that, because in certain countries, like we had this before, when you're allowed, if you're homeless and you walked into a place and you ate the food, you can eat the food. You can't steal the food, if that makes sense. So if you took a sandwich because you're starving to death, they have this right to life laws, so you can eat the food. But more than likely you'll never be able to get past that barrier. The next time they'll scan your face and they'll be like,
You walked in and they were like, okay, well, when he walked in he weighed 200 pounds. Now he's walking out, he weighs 204. How much food did he eat inside?
No, but I'm just saying, I can imagine that because you didn't steal anything. Because they can go back and watch the cameras. So then they probably wouldn't let you back in, because I'm sure it's going to all go facial recognition as well, in China.
There's so much facial recognition right now, too.
Yeah. I told you that thing that prosecutor was talking about in Target and all the Kroger stores, how they track and have a database on everyone who's ever stolen there. And until you get to a certain level, whatever the level is to prosecute for a federal theft crime, that's when they hit you with it. So they let you steal again and again. So you're stealing a candy bar every week until you hit that maximum amount of $600-700, and then boom, that's when they come to your house and they're like, you're under arrest. You're like, for what? Well, you've been stealing $700 worth of items from Target, and they've got you each and every single time. She said that they could see the moles on their face. There's cameras not just in the ceilings. There's cameras on the shelves.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the cameras are really, really good
Yeah.
in those places like that, and they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on their cameras.
Yeah, but the thing is no one realizes every single person who walks into one of those stores has a facial recognition file on them.
That's pretty cool, though. Actually, I never really thought about that, about like the whole like facial recognition and then like saving these things or the the screenshots or these files. Like I get the facial recognition part, but I don't know. I guess I never really thought about that.
Yeah, so they can just take whatever they can keep the database. You take whatever you want, thinking you're getting away with it, and they're watching you the whole time. And not just at one store; they compile it nationwide. See,
but I wonder, like, I feel like there's like so many like loopholes in that. Like one, statutes of limitation, and two, like different states having different laws and stuff too. So I can imagine them coming up.
But I imagine the amount might be different from state to state.
But theft is theft. So, but if I stole something in California, you can't prosecute me for the theft in Arizona.
Why not?
Well, because it was the crime occurred in California. That's why you'd have to be extradited back to California where the crime occurred.
But the amount could probably be combined.
So you wouldn't be able to stack on like those amounts like that.
Oh, the charges, yeah, because the charges would be different from state
things
to
like
state.
that, yeah. So I wonder what they would do. But I can imagine them keeping like that file and then being like, "Hey, you stole X amount of dollars combined in 3 different states, so you're banned from our store." I know. Who is I Am Milk?
I don't know. No, I said
that.
Hola, soy milk. I'm milk.
Yeah. Well, what if you have a twin and then they go to jail? That is a good question.
No, I have to remember because there was those 2 twins. Because one of the twins, I believe, unalived someone, and
unalived.
No, they did, and he did, but he blamed his other brother, and because twin DNA is the exact same thing, that was what the whole trial was.
Interesting.
To try to prove which twin it was. I mean, they believed they had one of them, but that's only for identical twins. I believe you have the same DNA. If you're not identical, your DNA is separate.
That's actually a good one. But yeah, what if I had an identical twin and I went and I stole $1,000 from Target, and then my identical twin went in and they're like, "Bro, you stole this money or you stole these things."
Well, then you'd have to rat out your twin.
Do twins have identical fingerprints too?
Yeah, everything's identical.
Dang.
I know that was crazy seeing that trial. I forgot where it was. I think it was like in Chicago or something.
But I feel like that would be an easy way to get away with, crimes, because when you go in and you're on trial, like it's got to be like a unanimous vote. Like everybody's got to be on the same page for that. If there's one person that says, "Oh no, they're innocent," then bam, the entire thing, it's a mystery.
Oh yeah, here we go. Chicago. Man released from prison 20 years later after twin brother confesses to murder.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine? Left him in his own twin for 20 years.
So like the twin brother, like finally he felt so bad, he was like, "Oh,
after
man.
20 years, aren't you done with your time though?" Oh no, because murder's 40, I think now.
Well, I think it kind of depends. I mean, it could be like life too, Or what if the twin that finally confessed, what if he was like on his deathbed and he was like, "All right, I'm dying. I have like a month left to live. Guess what? My brother's been in jail for the crime that I committed."
Can you imagine?
Dang.
That's another type of evil. That's your whole twin and you let your twin rot in jail.
Anyways, going back to automation.
Wait, I thought we're going... Oh, we are, okay. We're on the freeway.
We are. So we are driving. So if you're just joining us now, we are driving to Pasadena. We're going to go check out the first ever fully automated restaurant, Cali Express by Flippy. We're not going in. We might go in. We're going to see if we get an invitation. But we're going to go check this out, and we are going to watch robots make some food. So I'm excited to check this out.
Yeah. I'm curious about it because I feel like no one really talks about the part of like what's going to happen to humans if we have no jobs? How are you going to make money if everything's automated after that? I mean, yes, automation breaks down all the time, but it's going to be perfected eventually one day. And when that happens, like, what do we do as jobs after that? How are we going to make money? And I'm starting to see people in comments go like, I support humans, I don't support machines. And it's, I feel like it's like the the friends for humanity, if you know that reference, like no more mutants. It's like the same thing. Like,
Okay, well, so automation has so many different like aspects to it, and one of them is self checkout, right? So Target is a big leader in self checkout. So I think I told you I'd go to Target.
but they just changed their checkout policy.
They did change their checkout policies again, but I was just at Target 2 weeks ago, and I was actually just there yesterday. But the Target that I went to 2 weeks ago, they literally converted like 99% of their checkout lanes. They like flip the scanners around, they flip the computers around, so it's all self checkout. So like you put all your stuff on the conveyor belt, and then it just like went forward. Then you went up to the scanner, you scanned all your stuff yourself, and then you bagged it and paid, and you went on your way. They had one real person at the checkout, and then every other checkout lane was a self checkout.
But that was just right now. I was saying, like, again, no humans. We were at McDonald's. There was no place to walk up and order. It was all kiosk.
Oh yeah.
Did you notice it?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking, like, yeah, there's no more humans in the future. We're gonna have no more humans to even ask for something like, hey, my card didn't work, or
hey, can I get a McDonald's sauce, please?
I wanted that McDonald's sauce, and they didn't have it on the menu, but they had it behind the counter. And then I asked I saw it, but I didn't want to be like, what's that over there? But then I think like the owner, the manager, she came out. She's like, no, we have it right here. We have another case of it, and so I got to try it. But it's like things like that. Like, how do you tell the machine, I know you have it, can you do it? But it wasn't programmed for it.
Jobs will probably have a robot that goes to work for us. We pay a robot to go to work.
I guess you could eventually.
What's that show that you liked where it was all robots?
Like Futurama?
Maybe. But going back to the whole Target thing. So, they had the one cashier working, right? And then all the other lanes were self-checkout. Well, I feel like Target prices have gone up like so much. I was sticker shocked by how much the things cost. They're not paying the staff to have to check people out. But I have a friend that works at Target, and she was saying that they're cutting their hours. So because the minimum wage prices are going up, they were having to pay people higher rates to work there, and then they were hiring more people, but they were cutting people's hours. So like a person might work 20 hours a week, but then they were cutting their hours to like 10 hours a week.
Yeah.
So they had more staffing, but they had less hours for each person.
And it's all just to not pay people health insurance.
Benefits.
Yeah, no benefits, which is just so weird when you think about it. Like, you're willing to pay $20,000 or I'm sure it's going to be more, for an automated robot. Plus, you're going to have to pay the technician, who's not going to be cheap to maintain that robot. Plus, the parts for the robot, as the redundancies of the robots happen, because look how fast we have a new iPhone or new phones that come out every year. I'm sure the automated robots are just going to be upgraded every year too, when you think about it. But really, think about it. Like, you can get a lighter, faster robot who can compute more, who can do, more technical things than, the first edition of that robot.
Yeah. Like, hey, Freddy, your fry robot, we're going to have to get a new one.
Yeah, you might, because, you have to think about it. There's someone who's going to have to write the code. The code's going to change, and just all the standards of everything, they're constantly updated.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff is going to become much more expensive for, like, the data engineers.
But I feel, too, like, with, like, the evolution and, how things are changing and how, we're going into more automation, people's jobs are going to have to change, too. Like, they're going to have to go into different tech jobs. They're going to have to go into, engineering jobs, things that are going to fix.
Hold on. Sam says, what if you wear a hat that's not yours and then stuff your bag with, like, stuff you want, but you would still be counted? Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if you wear a hat. The facial recognition thing, you could just have your eyes showing and they'll be able to catch you. Like, you could wear a wig, you can wear a disguise, but you probably, maybe, I don't know if it works with prosthetics. The smartest thing to do, because the facial recognition, the cameras are calibrated to fair skin as opposed to dark skin. So if you did, let's say, prosthetics with dark skin, you probably could get away with it because it's so bad at reading dark faces that you could get away with it that way. That's probably the only way you could probably do it. But then you'd have to do it passable. But I don't think I've ever seen. Well, yeah, there has to be dark latex because Eddie Murphy wears them in like Norbit.
Norbit.
But you could wear a fat suit, you could wear prosthetics. Maybe that way you could get away with like tricking the facial recognition to getting out. But I don't know how much that would cost to build prosthetics and paint because I think that the latex is already like.
Should we try it?
Because that is part of automation, though. We could actually try that
recognition. Well, yeah. You know, like with like the iPhone, how you can change the facial recognition on your iPhone on newer iPhones to once COVID hit. People were wearing masks. So when your facial recognition, it was it had the two options. It said with or without a mask. So if you I don't know if you can like lighten the facial recognition so it's not as strict.
Yeah, so I'm reading what Sam's saying about people will need to adapt by learning new skills. But the problem is, it's not everyone. Well, everyone can learn new skills, but can everyone be like an engineer, a coding engineer, or something like that for the future? Like, what are going to be the future places of employment? I imagine even healthcare is getting automation as well, and that's happened years ago when you have the robots diagnosing cancers and things like that.
Yeah, but there's going to be trade schools. There's going to be different, schools that people are going to be able to go to learn these new things. So maybe people aren't all going to be coders and running the programs like that. But definitely, these people are going to be able to install, set up, and fix the different automated robots and things like that. But I don't know. Moving into the whole AI thing, what if the computers are going to write their own codes?
They can't. That's why I thought.
Like ChatGPT, for example.
No, because they can't. They can only take what they already have. They can't invent things yet. That would be a really difficult way to. Because last night I was talking to a data scientist who works in robotics and things like this, and asking him about the future of. First he made it very clear that the future is the future. We can't really predict the future, so it's anyone's guess, anyone's imagination. It's just as far as we can think of something and then you quantify it, make it data, and then put that into a robot or an algorithm. And so, because say for example, Beverly Hills uses drones. When you go into Beverly Hills, there's big signs that says drones in use, because if you call 911 and report something suspicious or a crime, they're sending a drone out like that. There's drone operators who are going to send it there. They're going to check out what's going on, but we don't really know much about it because it's a private. I believe it's a private company. I've seen the on LinkedIn. They're always looking for techs and things like that, and I believe it's subcontracted out. So, but what are the legalities of that? Does that expand over the rest of the U.S. or California? We're going to sending out drones first, and then only when absolutely necessary we send a human, or are we going to have RoboCops in the future, where we do have a full-on robot going out there to detain people and calculate whether you're a risk and do a risk assessment instantly like that off of an algorithm?
I don't know. That is kind of interesting to think about, but kind of also right now in the last couple of months when they had the writers' strike and all of that going on in Hollywood about how AI was taking over. They were doing AI scripts and stuff like that. I feel like we'll just have to kind of slow it down as we move forward, and we'll have to come up.
But it doesn't happen because it's we're in the era right now of the steam engine and the horse. There's people who are gonna love horses, but you can't stop that progress, because if it's faster, cheaper, for whatever reason, it's going to be adopted, and then people are just going to run.
It's going to be adopted and
both. Yeah,
we're going to adapt to that adoption.
I know. What that movie where they have the AI kids? It's a Steven Spielberg film where the little boy is Haley Joel Osment, where he's a robot. But
I think I've never watched that movie.
Can you imagine? That's also the future too, is the companionship that robots provide people. There's this whole thing I saw too about in my research now about people having robotic companions in Japan.
Okay, I'm gonna put a pin in that real quick. Ashley O. Did you see that episode of Black Mirror?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's an AI. I know
that song was just on.
That's right. That's right. They stole her consciousness and put it into the robot.
So if you don't know, Miley Cyrus was an actress. She still is.
Yeah.
So she was in an episode of Black Mirror, and she was called Ashley O. She was a singer, a pop star in that show. But they did a little AI robot on her, and it was actually a really cool episode that I've watched twice. But I love the Ashley O song. I'm on a roll. I think she has 3 different songs.
Yeah.
But I love them, and so I've listened to them a few times.
It's a Trent Reznor song. She redid it as a pop star.
But I really like Miley Cyrus. But anyways, going back to automation and companionship.
Yeah, but I mean that is because that's right. And that show, the little robot is like, it captures Ashley's personality, and there's this lonely girl in the series, and she has no friend, but her Ashley O toy doll is her friend. So
it learns and adapts, and you know.
I know. Can you imagine if I like made like a little Freddy? If I gave you little Freddy.
Hey, do you remember Furbies?
Yes, with their weird bug eyes.
That would be automation, right?
But you could. That is the future. You could put like, I know, but that seems so freaking scary. Can you imagine like you give your kid this little doll, and like your kid wakes up in the middle of the night, and it's like the doll's like, "What's wrong?"
Right?
Like, that would freak me out. Having this little demon doll talking to me like
it's an automated nanny.
Yeah, like, yeah, literally.
I mean, that would probably save a lot of money, and again, you're losing more jobs.
Yeah, well, I guess no, because how does the doll has to be able to stop the child from doing something like lighting a fire or going out into traffic, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it could survey, but it wouldn't be able to really, I guess.
I guess kind of depends on like the child's age too, you know. But
yeah.
I don't know. I guess like people get pets and animals because they're lonely. You know, I mean, you get a cat, you get a dog. I mean, imagine just getting like a little virtual thing. I guess that would be a lot less expensive, and you know, less cleanup. You don't gotta feed it; it's not gonna die.
No, they're expensive too because you still have to buy the actual unit. It's like buying any game console. You still have to.
Yeah, but how much is that gonna cost? You know, even if it's like $5,000, like you got to think
that's
like
still a lot of money.
Well, I know, but I probably spend that on my dogs in a year.
Wow.
I don't know.
I imagine it'd be something similar. Yeah.
You can clone a Freddy.
That's what I'm saying. You have the little doll.
Can they walk?
What?
Would you want it to walk, or would you just want them to carry it?
I don't know, because then there's that other episode of Black Mirror where they have the robot dogs who kill everyone.
I haven't watched
because the robot dogs actually become, and if you watch the episodes, like they're obviously not in chronological order, but the robot dogs do become like a security force, like protecting the public, and then they turn evil. But who knows if that's the code? Because remember the bees in that episode where the bees have died, and then they make robotic bees that pollinate things, and then people
new bees.
Yeah, new bees. Yeah, and then so people where someone programmed the bees to attack and kill people who were canceled.
Canceled.
Literally, like someone was like canceled because they said something awful, and then people's online hate ends up getting quantified into killing the people who were canceled. And then at the end of the episode, sorry if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it and don't watch it. Yeah, it is a spoiler alert, because at the end, the scientist goes and programs the bees to go and kill all those people who were promoting hate to cancel people. And so it cancels it out. So I think that same data scientist who disappears, we never see his face, and he just disappears off into the wild. It's the same thing. He's probably the one who programmed the robotic dogs to kill everyone as well.
But then, like, it's crazy too, because these like robotic dogs that are like now they're after and killing everybody. I wonder if they're able to like modify their code so that way you can't shut them off. Thank you, Sam, for all your support.
Thanks for subscribing.
But I mean, imagine like you know they change the coding and stuff, so then you're not able to go through and even turn them off, and then You know, they just,
There's always a way, I'm sure, but I mean, it's having to tap into that network and get inside there and all that.
yeah.
But the future it's anyone's guess, really.
All right, we are pulling into Pasadena now.
Yeah.
We are about 6 minutes away from this automated restaurant. We are going to make some pretty cool content there. We're going to check it out. We'll let you guys know how it goes. Watch for our video that's going to be coming up about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us today. I don't even know how to turn this off. All right, bye.
Hit the X.